Alright, yeah! Thank God for fantasy football. I'm Buster Brown and the show is called Redemption Rehab. Today, we're taking a look at the rookie quarterbacks coming into the 2025 NFL Draft that are going to impact fantasy football this year and for years to come. So buckle up, get out your popcorn, and let's head over to the chalkboard
and check out the facts.
Okay, here we are on a website called drafttech.com. When you get a chance, you gotta check it out. They're gonna rank our quarterbacks in the order that they think they'll be taken in the 2025 NFL Draft, starting with this guy, Cameron Ward out of Miami of Florida. He's 6'3", 220-pound senior. I'll tell you what, let's go check out his highlights and statistics to see what you think. Okay, Cameron Ward, better known as Cam Ward, played 1 year at Miami of Florida, 2 years at Washington State. We told you, 6'3", 220-pound redshirt senior. He played 3 years in the NCAA, finished fourth in the Heisman ballot in 2024 behind quarterback Gabriel Dillon of Oregon that we'll talk about later. Cam Ward was a consensus All-American, All-ACC, ACC Player of the Year. He won the Davey O'Brien Award, and he won the Manning Award for Best Quarterback in College. He throws an accurate, high-velocity ball, and the pro scouts love him. In 38 games, he completed 948 of his 1,436 attempts for 66% completion rate for 11,281 yards and 87 touchdowns. He threw 23 interceptions in his career. In his senior year, that had him competing for a Heisman, he completed 305 of 454 passes for 67% completion rate for 4,313 yards and a nation-leading 39 touchdowns with only 7 interceptions. He had a senior year quarterback rate of 172. That's above the 170 that we're looking for in a quality quarterback prospect. What is a quarterback rate? I get that question a lot. A quarterback rate is a statistical measurement used to evaluate quarterbacks' efficiency and effectiveness. Considering factors are completions, attempts, yardage, touchdowns, and interceptions. Can Cam Ward run the ball in his career 287 times for 406 yards and 17 touchdowns, an average rush per carry of 10.7. He led the nation in 2024 in total TDs with 44. Cam Ward should be a top 3 pick in this year's NFL Draft on April 24th. Hey, if you like what you see in these highlights and what we're doing here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Who else do we like? Well, I'll tell you what. How about this guy here, quarterback? Draft Tech has him ranked in the top 10 overall prospects. Shedeur Sanders of Colorado. He's 6'2", 215-pound senior. He's the son of Deion Sanders. Let's head over and check out his stats. Shedeur Sanders played 2 years at Jackson State and 2 years at Colorado. Jackson State is a smaller school, Division I AA. It's considered football championship subdivision now. He is 6'2", 215 pounds. Shedeur Sanders finished 8th in the Heisman Trophy race. He won the Johnny Unitas Award. He was the Big 12 Player of the Year, where he led the league in a whopping 11 categories. He also led the nation in completion percentage rate at 74%. He is accurate. He throws a low velocity, very catchable ball, and his quarterback rate in his senior year was 168.2, just shy of the 170 we're looking for. His career passing in Colorado in 24 games, well, he completed 651 passes of his 907 attempts for 71.8% completion percentage rate for 7,364 yards with 64 touchdowns and 13 interceptions. Can he run the ball? rushing 211 times for minus 127 yards. This statistic includes his sacks, which is why it's a minus. He did manage to rush the ball 8 times for touchdowns. Other negatives besides his rushing stats are Sanders holds onto the ball too long, his ball that he throws hangs too long in the air on long passes, and he doesn't throw a very high velocity ball. He's still likely to be a top 10 pick in this year's NFL draft. Both Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders, if they were to be taken in last year's draft, probably would be the 5th and 6th ranked quarterback on this list. To get a better comparison of where these guys are, let's go over to a draft board and see where they're being taken prior to the 2025 NFL draft. Okay, here we are looking at a draft board from a website called rtsports.com. When you get a chance, you gotta check them out. As you can see here, some of the quarterbacks in the 2024 NFL draft were taken long before Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders. Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, Caleb Williams, Michael Penix, Drake May all went before Cam Ward in round 16. As you can see here, J.J. McCarthy went in round 16, and then Shedeur Sanders down here in round 20. We show you this to give you some perspective as to how these guys match up against the quarterbacks taken in the 2024 NFL draft and where they stand prior to the 2025 NFL draft. Let's take a look at some dynasty rookie drafts to see where they're going in those leagues. Okay, what you have here is a website called fantasypros.com. They're another affiliate of ours. You can click on RT Sports or Fantasy Pros at a link in the description if you want to check out those websites. But this is a 12-team PPR Dynasty League rookie mock draft. And it's only rookies in this draft in Dynasty Leagues. Guys we're talking about are quarterbacks. As you can see here, Cam Ward went in the first round, number 11. The next quarterback off the board was who we were talking about, Shedeur Sanders, at round 2, pick 7. This is a snake draft. The next guy we're going to talk about is Jackson Dart. He's an up-and-coming guy, might go in the first round of the NFL draft. And then Jalen Milroe of Alabama. That's the order in which these guys are going. You can see some other quarterbacks like Quinn Ewer, Will Howard, Kyle McCord, and Tyler Slow, all in the color purple, going in this mock draft. So let's head back to Draft Tech and check out some of these guys' highlights and statistics to see what you think. Okay, here we are back on drafttech.com. We just showed you 2 charts to give you some comparison of how these guys are going to fare in this year's Fantasy Football League drafts that you may be a part of. So the next guy on the list right here is Jackson Dart of Ole Miss. You can see he's moving up draft boards right here, and so is Jalen Milroe because of what they did at the NFL Combine and what they did in 2024. Let's check out their highlights and statistics. You can see right here, Jackson Dart, quarterback out of Ole Miss. He played 1 year at USC, 3 years at Ole Miss. He's 6'2", 226-pound senior. In 2024, he was all SEC. He led the nation in 5 passing categories and led the ACC in a total of 8 categories. So he had a good 2024. But Jackson Dart led the nation in quarterback rate percentage that we told you about earlier at 180. That's well above the 170 that we'd like to see. He also led the nation in total yards for a season, 4,774, just edging out another guy we'll talk about, quarterback Kyle McCord of Syracuse. What did Jackson Dart do at Ole Miss? Well, he's very effective and very efficient and very accurate quarterback. In 45 games, he completed 852 passes of his 1,307 attempts for a 65% completion rate for 11,970 yards with 81 touchdowns and 27 interceptions. In those 4 years, he had an average quarterback rate of 158. but it's worth noting he led the nation in quarterback rate in 2024 at 180. That's huge. Can he run the ball? You bet you can. He had 393 carries for 1,541 yards and a 3.9-yard average with another 14 TDs. Jackson Dart has a chance to go in the first round of the NFL draft. 6 went in the first 12 picks in 2024. So there's a chance this guy goes. It's the first round of the 2025 NFL draft on April 24th. Who else do we like? I'll tell you right now, man, this guy right here is catching a lot of... Didn't play well in 2024. Jalen Milroe out of Alabama, 6'1", 220-pound redshirt junior. He's moving up the draft board according to Draft Tech, but a lot of people have a lot of criticism for this kid. Why? Because Nick Saban retired 2023, and in 2024, Jalen Milroe didn't live up to his expectations. But he was the winner of a couple of awards, the William V. Campbell and the Pop Warner Trophy Awards, that focused on excellence in academics and community service. So he's good on and off the field. He finished 6th in 2023 in the Heisman Trophy ballot when Nick Saban was his coach. But like I said, he fell off in 2024 with the coaching change. His passing career, well, he played in 38 games. He completed 426 passes of his 663 attempts for 64% completion rate. And he only threw for 6,016 yards with 45 touchdowns and 20 career interceptions. His career quarterback rate was 156.8, but in 2023 with Nick Saban as coach, his quarterback rate was above the 170 we're looking for at 172.8, and that's the year he finished 6th in the Heisman. He throws the ball with high velocity, yet he tends to run the ball after his first read is not open. He's very fast when he runs the ball. His career rushing attempts over at Alabama were 375 attempts for 1,577 yards. He had 33 touchdowns in his career, 20 touchdowns in 2024. Jalen Milroe is a true dual-threat quarterback, similar to Anthony Richardson, quarterback of the Colts. Problems are his passing accuracy. That needs a lot of work. But I'll tell you what, if this guy catches on, he's going to be a fabulous fantasy football player because he's so fast when he runs the ball. He's very hard to catch and very hard to tackle. Who else do we like at quarterback? How about this guy right here, man? Quinn Ewers of Texas, 6'2", 207-pound redshirt senior. Let's take a look at some of his statistics. Okay, we're talking about Quinn Ewers, man. He played 3 years at Texas after transferring from Ohio State. He's 6'2", 207-pound redshirt senior. He played in 37 games in his career where he completed 737 passes out of his 1,135 attempts. He was 64.9% completion rate. He did throw for 9,128 yards and 68 touchdowns. He does have a lot of interceptions at 24. His career quarterback rate is low. It's only 148. However, he did lead the SEC with 31 touchdowns, a league-leading 12 interceptions, and in 2024, he rushed the ball in 37 games 140 times for minus 59 yards. That means he's taking a lot of sacks, and he had 8 rushing touchdowns with 2 playoff appearances, and he's a game manager. I'm not sure about Quinn Ewers in his NFL career, but I'll tell you what, a guy you have to know about is this next guy here, Will Howard out of Ohio State. 6'5", 242-pound redshirt senior. He's coming off a national championship. He did have a poor performance at the NFL Combine, but let's take a look at his highlights. Will Howard played 4 years at Kansas State, 1 year at Ohio State. He's a big man, 6'5", 242-pound redshirt senior. He led the Big Ten in 5 categories and OSU to a national championship in 2024. His career passing in 50 games, well, he completed 767 passes out of his 1,202 attempts for 63.4% completion rate. He threw for 9,797 yards and 83 touchdowns. He did throw quite a few interceptions at 35. His career quarterback rate is low, 149.2. However, his senior year, when he helped Ohio State win a national championship, his completion rate was 73% and his quarterback rate was 175.3. A high completion rate and a high quarterback rate usually equals success for quarterbacks in football. Does he run the ball? Well, of course, Will Howard runs the ball. In rushing, 331 attempts, 1,147 yards, and a whopping 26 TDs. I'll tell you what, man, the kid won a national championship, so you got to give him credit, and he is a good quarterback. I'll tell you what, another guy that's moving up the draft board, as you can see here, is Tyler Scholl and Kyle McCord. Let's take a look at these two guys real quick. Kyle McCord is 6'3", 224-pound, former Ohio State quarterback in 2023, out of Syracuse in 2024. He is a senior. Kyle McCord had a huge year at Syracuse, leading the NCAA in 6 categories, including passing yards at 4,779 and yards per game at 367.6 yards a game. He finished 10th in the Heisman Trophy race. In career passing, in 37 games, he completed 661 of his 998 attempts for a 66% completion rate for 8,555 yards and 61 touchdowns. His career quarterback rate is only 154. Can he run the ball? In 37 games, he's minus 142 yards on 111 attempts. He only has 3 touchdowns rushing it. His negatives are he stares down receivers. He's got a slow release. Hey, if you like what you see in these highlights and what we're doing here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Who else do we like? How about this Tyler Scholl kid out of Louisville, 6'5", 224-pound redshirt senior. He's moved up quite a bit, as you can see right here. And I'll tell you what, this kid can throw the ball. He's accurate, and he's got a gun. Let's take a look at some of his highlights. Tyler Scholl is moving up a lot of draft boards. I'll tell you what, this guy's been in the league a long time. He played a whopping 7 years in college. He played 3 years at Oregon, 3 years at Texas Tech before he went to Louisville and played a year. He, like I said, 6'5", 224 pounds. I mean, he'll be 26 years old this September. He only played in 42 games, completed 599 passes of his 951 attempts for 63%. He threw for 7,820 yards with 59 touchdowns, and he has a low quarterback rate of 147. He ran the ball for 733 yards in his career. The negatives, he gets hurt a lot. He does get hurt a lot. That's why he's been in the league so many years. But he's moving up draft boards because I'll tell you what, the guy can fling the ball all over the field, high velocity passes, and he's accurate. We're going to give you 2 more guys because they're going to get drafted and they're going to be scoring points in fantasy football in the next couple years. Starting with this guy. How about Dylan Gabriel of Oregon? He played 6 years. He's only 5'10", 202 pounds. He'll be 25 years old this December. He finished, like I said earlier in the video, 3rd in the Heisman Trophy race in 2024. He throws a high velocity pass, quick release. In his career, he completed 1,376 passes out of his 2,111 attempts. His completion rate in 6 years was 65%, which is pretty good considering he played that long, for a whopping, get a load of this, 18,722 yards with a whopping 155 touchdowns and 32 interceptions. His career quarterback rate is 160.9, and, he's got some rushing skills. His rushing attempts is pretty good. In 64 games, 424 times he ran the ball for 1,209 yards. He scored 33 more touchdowns in his career. He's a smaller quarterback, but hey, other small quarterbacks have succeeded in the NFL, and this kid has a lot of experience. Dylan Gabriel. And the last guy we want to talk about is a guy that had an amazing season for Indiana, and his name is Curtis Rourke. He played 4 years at Ohio in the MAC and 1 year in Indiana in the Big Ten. He's 6'5", 231 pounds. He tore his ACL during the year and continued to play. In 48 games, he had 860 completions out of his 1,283 attempts for a 67% completion rate. He threw for 10,693 yards with 79 touchdowns and 21 interceptions. He's got a career quarterback rate of 154.9. He finished 9th in the Heisman Trophy ballot. And in his senior year at Indiana, under good coaching, he had a quarterback rate of 176, which is great. And he ran the ball for 793 yards in his career. Okay, man, that's Curtis Rourke right there out of Indiana. Played the whole year, most of it anyways, on a torn ACL. Wow, he's a brave kid. I'll tell you what, that's it for our rookies that are going to impact fantasy football at the quarterback position heading into the 2025 NFL Draft. I'm Buster Brown. The show is called Redemption Rehab. Good luck.